Okay, what's up? This is Anti-Cheat. This is going to be the ultimate video about why Cod Mobile is trash. The game could be a lot better, and they're not making it better. They're more focused on cosmetics. They're more focused on just microtransaction, pay to win bullshit, really. And I don't advise that anyone who cares about COD. I don't advise anybody to spend money on this because they don't really deserve it. They screwed over first of all, they screwed over the majority of people that have phones because they wanted to promote a specific phone to play the game, and that's bullshit because like not everybody has the money to shell out that much money for a fucking device to play a mobile game that the devs and the company have not shown that they even care about the community's feedback. So that's why I say that. Anyway, let's get into this. The number one reason why this game is terrible is because the matchmaking is rigged. The matchmaking is rigged. The whole game is rigged. The gunfights are rigged. There's an Activision patent. Shout out to Why So Serious. He's the first person that I heard talking about this. There's an actual Activision patent that talks about how gunfights are rigged in real time. Yeah, or it says the words are more like the parameters are manipulated in real time, depending on the player's skill. So the higher skilled you are, the more you get screwed over by the game, and that's pretty fucked up. It's more than just skill-based matchmaking. It's more like profile-based matchmaking and engagement optimized matchmaking. Profile-based matchmaking is when they look at your play style and they in the system, the algorithm it intentionally puts you in certain matches to either make you lose or win. So it's like, so skill is not even in the equation anymore if you know that the game outcome is determined before it even started by the algorithm. And that's fucked up. It's insulting, and it makes you wonder why you're even playing the game. So yeah, that's basically summed up. That's basically the gist of it. It's very blatant. It's very obvious. It's not a coincidence why you go, you go really good a few games, and then suddenly you get real bad teammates, and then the other team is full of people who are all playing in sync with each other, and they are actually a team. It's not a coincidence. So next point, number 2. There's too many terrible guns. First of all, the game's not optimized. So there's a variety of phones that people are playing on, and because of that, it's like the performance is not consistent, and so that really fucks up the aim a lot of the time. Like things that should be easy to do, like kills that should be simple, are complicated. There's too many terrible guns that really amplify that issue. The majority of the guns in the game you can't really do anything with because they are too clunky and they don't have enough bullet penetration. They added something called bullet spread accuracy, which is bullshit. It basically makes your gun feel like a Nerf gun. They added it for realism. They wanted to make it look like you strafing affects the wind of your bullets, and they tried to add realism to it, but they fucked it up because there are other factors that are screwing with gunfights that are multiplied by the bullet spread accuracy, such as the patent. Yeah, the patent. The real-time parameters that are manipulated while you're playing the game. Have you ever ran into certain players and realized that your bullets were they were invincible to your bullets? Not a coincidence. It's happened to me several times. I ran across this certain player, and whenever I come in contact with this certain player, suddenly I'm on target, and I know that I'm hitting them, but they are not taking damage. they are not taking damage. That's the algorithm. That's the patent. It's not a coincidence. And it's all just is bullshit. That's why I don't spend money on this bullshit, and I don't take it serious. But I take dignity serious enough to make this video. So hang in there. I know it's a long video. The next point, number 3, the guns are horribly imbalanced. There are a few new guns every season that become the meta, and they either have, it's either because they're one-shot kills, or it's either because they have fast aim down sight speed, and movement speed. But the snipers are the worst. First of all, you're looking at a phone screen and they don't even make the visibility good in the game. The graphics are not good. Like, it hurts my eyes to look at it. And it's not like I'm playing the game on a fucking potato. I'm playing on a S10, a Galaxy S10. It's not like, when I look at the game, it runs 60 frames per second, but that doesn't mean that it's actually, it doesn't mean that it's good to look at. It literally hurts my eyes when I try to focus on a target, because there's this blur that happens when you turn, and it's terrible. But anyway, back to the guns being unbalanced. Yeah, like, it's very easy to get sniped in this game by a hard scoping camper, especially in ranked, because you didn't see him. And also it's also easy to get one shotted by a sniper close range, because suddenly snipers are shotguns, and they can just one shot kill you before you even aim down your sight, because they made it so slow to sprint and aim down your sight after sprinting. It's this thing called sprint to fire delay, which slows down the process between you pressing the button and actually shooting. There's actually an 1/8 of a second delay, but that's enough. You may think like that's minuscule. No, it's like, no, because think about it. People are getting better at the game, which means their reaction time is improving. Well, there's no amount of reaction time that you can have, because from the moment you see someone to the moment you press the button, even if you press it fast, it doesn't matter, because the animation has to complete before the gun actually fires. And that's bullshit. That's out of the player's control. It's out of the player's control. And so you're aiming down sight at this sniper, but by the time you're shooting at him, you have 2 bullets in the sniper. The sniper already one shot killed you. On top of that, they nerfed mobility with most guns, strafing speed. You can't strafe as fast as you want to with ARs. It's bullshit. So, next point. The gunsmith overcomplicated and screwed up the game. The gunsmith is overcomplicated, man. They brought the gunsmith over from the contagious virus called Modern Warfare 2019. Any attachments that you add to the gun that'll give you more movement speed will compromise your accuracy. In other words, you're going to get recoil that feels like a freaking jackhammer, and it's going to be really hard to control. The more you speed up, that's basically it summed up. There's several factors, like there's grips, there's stocks, there's different lasers you can put on, there's different optics, there's different muzzles, there's different, there's different barrels you can put on, and there's different ammunition and clips that you can use, ammunition, magazines. But it all boils down to this. You're either increasing your mobility of your gun and compromising your accuracy by increasing your recoil, or you are increasing your accuracy and making the gun feel like an LMG to aim down sights, because the aim down sight speed was so freaking compromised by you being so accurate. And it screwed up the game. Just more complications added that don't need to be added. So that's Gunsmith summed up. From what I've experienced, the only thing that's worth it is the mobility build. You want to be able to control recoil, just pull down on your right stick, like Why So Serious said. I'm like, hey, yeah, you got a point. Pull down on your right stick. That's all you got to do. Anyone who isn't a noob will realize that over time. Hey, just pull down on your right stick to minimize the recoil. But you need to be able to aim down your sight when you see an enemy, like right away. not some stupid ass delay. Which is why I think that they should remove the sprint to fire delay, because it's fucked up. And on every point, I've noticed that I've kind of touched on the movement, and that's one of the biggest reasons why the game's trash. You know, the movement, like, man, the movement is a huge factor in shooting games, man. If you're not able to move, the way you want to move when you want to move, it's like the game is already 50% less fun. So yeah. You know, yeah, that's basically it for that. And did I also mention that most of the guns in the game are not even like useful? Like, like the ARs, they don't even like, they have bad recoil and they don't have good bullet penetration. I think I did mention that. You know, like the AK-47, for instance, is rated as like as a upper tier gun, but it really is not, because the fire rate is slow. And the recoil is out of this fucking world. So when you put that up against somebody who's running around with a one-shot kill sniper shotgun, those exist in both ways. They exist in DLQs and they exist in BY-15s, which isn't even a freaking sniper, but people can one-shot you across the room with it. I don't know if they nerfed that yet or not, but they need to. Okay? But yeah, next point. They removed useful team commands from quick message. You know, the in-game message that you could use to, you know, communicate with your teammates. They removed a lot of that. And it fucked up the game. Like, bro, it's like every season they add something that screws up the game in one way or another. You know? Here's an example. All right? When playing Search and Destroy, I used to be able to say rush A or rush B or don't rush, and a lot of other quick messages to communicate with my teammates, you know, and it didn't matter. And it didn't matter if we were on the attacker side or the defender side. But now, you can only do those commands on one side, which really doesn't make sense. You know, one day after an update, those options just all of a sudden disappeared. And it makes no sense, because even if you are on the defending side and you need your teammates to get to A or B, it would be useful to be able to say, hey, rush A or rush B, you know, instead of saying this long drawn out message, A is under attack, need backup. It's just more shit that slows down the game. And you know, here's what's interesting, like, I don't know if that's just on my account, because you know what I've noticed? I've noticed that my teammates are able to say different things than I'm able to say on quick message. That's fucking weird. Okay? When the quick messages should be like pretty much the same for everybody. Everybody should have the same amount of messages to say. Otherwise, the game is obviously bullshit and it's fucked up. But yeah, there's that. Next point. Too many maps that promote camping, man. Way too many maps that promote camping. Like, you know, campers were always an issue in COD, but these days it's worse because they nerfed the movement and they keep adding maps that have all these rooms in it. It's dumb. And not only that, but they keep adding maps that you really couldn't rush in, because there's not much cover when you're out in the open. You can easily get sniped, and it's just not fun, man. It's like the game favors snipers. It's like there are other guns in the game. Like, you're telling me that I can only play this game in a few ways? That's stupid. Where's the improvement? Where's the innovation? There's no innovation. Which is why I say that Cod Mobile is dead, and a lot of Call of Duties nowadays are dead because they don't actually improve shit. Yeah, but campers, man, they've always been a problem. You know, campers are either very lazy, or they simply just are not that skilled, or they realize that the minute they run out, they could get fucked up because they nerfed movement in the game. So it's those three factors, you know, there's three possibilities. There's probably more, but let me move on. Everybody's a noob at some point, so yeah, you know, certain people are gonna be camping. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. That's to be expected. But I mean, there's a time where you get over that stuff and you actually, you improve and you start to move more. But the game just caps that because of the maps and the movement speed. So yeah, like there's way too many maps that promote camping. Another thing is what do you call it? Lethal equipment and tactical equipment. I think it's lethal or tactical equipment that caters to noobs. There's too much of it. Like specifically trip mines and the heartbeat sensor. The heartbeat sensor, man. There's so many times where I've been in the game and you know, well, I can hear the enemy coming from a certain direction when I'm spectating my teammate on search and destroy because I've already like died, and they're trying to figure out where the enemy is, but the enemy is coming up the stairs into the building that my teammate's in, but they don't hear it, and they're looking at this heartbeat sensor when they should be looking ahead of them, because footsteps are audible in this game. They're not always audible because there is this problem with the explosions. Like they're really fucking loud when the explosion happens and it's near you. It totally drowns out. Like I guess that's realistic, but come on, man. Like it lasts too long. It lasts too fucking long. Like so it's really hard to hear people then, but still footsteps aren't that really hard to hear. Like there's too many people that look at that fucking heartbeat sensor to try to see what enemies are. I'm like, man, like what's wrong? Like, don't you hear these people? Like, where's your game sense? And trip mines as well. Trip mines, I mean, yeah, put them in. They should be allowed in public, but at least in ranked, they shouldn't be there because trip mines don't really require skill. You just have to know where to put them. Like, and that's it. Like there's no way to know that you're running past a trip mine until it's too late. Yes, you can put on the hardwired perk and you're automatically going to be immune to trip mines, but you're also going to compromise something with that. And I keep coming back to that issue. If you put on one thing, you're compromising something else that could be really useful. Like, man, you know how cool it would be to run gung ho and hardwired at the same time, so you're immune to trip mines, and you can also slide, cancel, and jump you can jump while you're reloading already, but you could like sprint while you're reloading and slide while you're reloading, and sprint while you hip fire. Man, that adds movement to the game. That adds fun, but they don't do that. They want to slow it down. And it's bullshit. They want to slow it down. They want to cater to noobs. That's the argument. They want to cater to noobs, but it doesn't make any fucking sense because everybody's a noob at some point, and like if you play a game over time, you're automatically going to get better. There's no need to overprotect these people. But yeah, next point. I already touched on this a little bit in every point. Slow movement and slow animation speed. Slow movement and slow animation speed, man. Everything is just too damn slow. Everything is just too damn slow in this game. It's funny how the animation of throwing a trip mine is the fastest lethal equipment animation. It's like, it's as if they're catering to noobs again. And all the others take way longer than they should. Like the Molotov. That shit takes forever to pull out. There's so many times where I've been being chased by an enemy. I was out of ammo. And I pull out this Molotov to throw, and by the time I throw it, the enemy's already shooting at me, and boom, I'm dead. It's bullshit. Yeah. What else? It's the default ADS speed, people, man. The default ADS speed is just of every gun. But it's not just the ADS speed, it's also the sprint to fire delay, which is what I described before. The time from when I press the ADS and when I actually am looking down my sight is simply not fast enough to react to a player that I come in contact with. It was great and snappy in the older CODs. The golden era of CODs like Black Ops 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, that's what I have experience playing. And those CODs were great. They didn't feel clunky. They felt great. It felt great to play. But Nowadays, man, it's bullshit. And it's not just on mobile. It's actually, I've heard people complaining about this in Modern Warfare 2. I haven't even played Modern Warfare 2, the new Modern Warfare 2, 2022. I haven't even played it, but I already know if I were to get it, I would hate it because of what I hear other people talking about. I'm going to be wise and take their word for it and just uh and just totally avoid buying the shit because if they can fuck up the game more, they will at this point because Activision, they've shown that they don't really care about the community's feedback. They don't want to make the game fun. Okay? They want to make money. And that's pretty fucked up because they could make money just by making a good game, but they're fucked up. So anyway, yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about this point. You know, that sprint to fire delay is messing up everything because you can't shoot an enemy right when you see them. You shoot the enemy when the animation has gone through and completed it. Like, it's bullshit. So that's why people, and I'm gonna say this last and I'm gonna end this point. That's why a lot of people, they abuse sound. Like, they listen for footsteps. Like, I found myself doing it a lot of times too because it's like, okay, you basically have to see the enemy before they're there at all times. Like, most of the time. I'll say most of the time. It's like you have to press the fire button before you come around the corner. Because if you wait until you see them to press the fire button, then the animation of stopping, sprinting, and lifting up the gun is gonna take too long. And you don't know if they have a sniper or some gun that has a super fast time to kill. Okay, next point. I already been over that. Useless perks and compromises. You know, it's ridiculous. You know, if you run lightweight, you take away the opportunity to use the agile perk that allows you to draw your gun faster, instead of just making the ability to draw your gun fast a default mechanic in the game. If you use hardwire, like I mentioned before, you take away the option to use gung ho. The only way to feel like you can move fluently with an AR in this stupid ass game. You know, I could go on, but you get the point. There's a bunch of compromises that ultimately slow down the game in general. Yeah. So, yeah, did I already go over the gunsmith issue? Yeah, I think I did. I think I did. Okay. In fact, I know I did. Let's go. On to the next point. I told you this is the ultimate video. There's nobody else on YouTube talking about this shit like I'm talking about it. There's nobody on YouTube going into as much depth as I am about this excuse of a game called Cod Mobile. You know, it's making billions of dollars, but they can't fix it. Like, bruh. Come on, man. So this point is about the camo grinding. The camo grinding is frustrating because it's too fucking monotonous and it takes too fucking long. So it's too fucking boring. There are too many kill counts. There are too many kill count requirements to get gold, especially since getting certain types of shots with a lot of guns is a pain in the ass. And you want us to get 80 to 100 of those, like, for each different camo of that gun in order to get gold? Do you know how fucking long that would take? I get it. They want to keep people on the game as long as possible so that people can spend more money. But it's like, what makes you think I'm going to buy some shit from the store if I'm already going through this bullshit to just to unlock gold, when half the guns or most of the guns don't even work as they're supposed to? It's bullshit. 100 headshots when playing ranked, where people are running around with 0.5 second time to kill guns. Yeah, not fun. Even in pubs, it's like the moment I try to focus and use my right stick, My right stick, not my left stick. The moment I try to get on target, just aiming left to right. It's a very difficult thing to do because they fucked up the aiming mechanic in this game. Basically, every time you want to get a kill that's mid-range or more than mid-range, you gotta strafe side to side. You gotta do the tango, or not the tango, but the salsa. You literally have to freaking do the salsa every time you shoot at somebody. You gotta strafe from side to side rapidly every fucking time. And that's like, wait, is that really necessary? Like, can't I just point the gun and aim from left to right to track people? No, because the game mechanics are fucked up. But yeah, the camo grinding is ridiculously slow. There are just way too many kills required to get those, and it's a pain. So yeah, I mean, in a video by a user channel named Link City on the 40 reasons why COD Modern Warfare 2019 sucks, he said how the old CODs had less requirements to get camos, like less kill requirements, because it kept the game going. It kept the game going. That's what he said. And yeah, he's right. The old CODs were definitely better than the current ones. Next point, desync is still an issue. It still hasn't been fixed. You know, you would have thought that they would have found a way to keep everyone in the match on the same ping, on the same page. I mean, okay, people have different Wi-Fi and connections, so a ping wouldn't be really easily solved. But the desync, man, it's terrible. It's all over the place. The enemy is shooting at me, and I run behind a wall just to get killed. And I see on the kill cam it doesn't even show me out in the. It doesn't even show me running behind the wall. It shows me the moment before I ran behind the wall. As if I'm moving slower on their screen than I am on my screen, and that's fucked up. You know, a lot of the time I've done a slide to dodge and then take a shot on my target, and they kill me, and then on the kill cam, it doesn't even show me sliding. So the kill cam itself is just fucked up. It's just retarded. It doesn't make people look good. It makes people look bad. It makes a lot of players look like worse players than they actually are. Yeah, I've concluded that Activision is just like satanic, and they don't like seeing people win. They don't like seeing high skill players improve. People who are just playing the game for the love of the game and getting better and wanting to be creative and innovative. Activision doesn't want that. They just want to piss people off, really, seriously, because they are controlled by Satan. Seriously. They don't want people having fun. It's simple. Like, next point. Battle Royale is still a mess. You know? It is cool that I can queue solo and it'll find a team for me of real players. Nowadays I can do that. I think I'm one rank away from legendary in Battle Royale currently, and yeah, I can find real players to play with, but a lot of the time they're far less skilled than me, and I end up, you know, getting screwed over because of my teammates doing dumb things. But that isn't really a big issue. That happens every now and then. The big issue is the lack of optimization. So in Battle Royale, you're going to be dealing with longer distance gunfights, and it's very hard to get on target because of the bullet velocity issue. You're shooting at somebody that's far away and your bullets are just not hitting them because the game is not allowing you to aim fast enough to get back on target. The bullets are not going where they're supposed to go. And that's why it's a pain in the ass. Battle Royale, it could be a lot better. The shotguns in Battle Royale are still overpowered. You know, you run up on a shotgun inside a house, You run up on a shotgunner inside of a house on Battle Royale and COD Mobile, it's over already. One shot. You know, and it makes sense, right? Oh, it's a shotgun. Yeah, it's a shotgun. But you don't have any time to react. I mean, any time to react. So that's what makes it really shitty. Like, really shitty. So, yeah. Another thing about Battle Royale is they don't really add anything new to the game that's actually going to make it exciting. Like since Blackout, they haven't really added anything new to Battle Royale. So every game, it just begins to get boring because you already know what you're going to see. There isn't really there's no new secrets to discover. There's no tasks to complete within the BR. It becomes very predictable, and that's what makes it boring. Yeah, like I had an idea one time when I was playing this. I was like, damn, what if they because they did Undead Siege one time, or for like a few seasons. They got rid of it. It was like a zombies mode where you defend a fort, or you defend a circle, like a base, which is stupid. Like, you didn't move, you just stayed in one like central location and kind of just defended. Like, it was lame, you know. It would be a lot better if COD did Undead Siege. Like, you can drop down and it'll be like a regular BR, except, you know, when the timer goes off, you don't get transported to a circle, but you are running around and there are zombies crawling out the fucking windows of the houses in the towns you go to. And you know, as time progresses, they do get harder and faster. And at the same time, you do also have enemy groups that you have to go up against, and them against you, and them against the zombies as well. Like, I was watching Walking Dead. I've been watching a lot of The Walking Dead recently, and I guess that's where the idea comes from. Like, damn, that would be fucking cool. Like, you and your squad defending against all these zombies in the Battle Royale map or on Blackout, and you know, you got these hounds jumping out the windows, running at you and shit. Like, I'm not talking about that class, that special that you can equip, you know, the hounds or whatever. Those aren't really effective, you know. You can kill those in a few shots. That's kind of a lame skill to equip. I like to use the jetpack, and I used to use ninja, but they nerfed the shit out of that. But yeah, that would be really cool. But they won't. But they don't innovate like that. They don't add creative stuff like that, because they care more about money, and it's a damn shame. Next point: there's no theater mode. It would really be useful if I could actually rewind shit to see what actually happened. But of course they're not gonna add theater mode, man. If I can go back to a game and show specifically what the fuck happened and how it was capped, how it capaholic mixtapes, like Sirius says. But anyway, if I could actually go back and see what the hell happened, everybody would see that the game is obviously freaking rigged. So of course they're not going to add theater mode. Next point: the game is pay to win. Not only because people are buying, you know, cosmetics, they're dropping hundreds of dollars. They're dropping hundreds of dollars, bro, on lucky draws to get a legendary gun that looks like a freaking toy gun, okay, that blinds the enemy when you shoot at them. Basically, like, I noticed this. Like, it's not just the fact that the gun is a gun that it's not just the fact that the gun is a gun that looks pretty or whatever, but it literally blinds enemies. Like, I'll be shooting at somebody who has a legendary gun or whatever that they paid for, and I'm like, I can't see this fucker. How the hell am I supposed to shoot at them if I can't see them? This gunfight is pay to win, basically. So yes, the other factor that makes it pay to win is if you're playing on a certain device, you automatically have an advantage. So the person who pays for the device that runs the game smoother is going to be able to get onto target a lot easier than the person with the device that doesn't have as good performance. So it is pay to win. So if you pair that with the lack of movement in the game, it really is a problem. So yeah, you know, and well, that brings me to the last point. You know, I'm pretty much covered every reason why this game is garbage. Um, one more thing why this game is garbage. It's really just the community. They don't censor out idiots who have dumb usernames, but they censor out cuss words. And one time I got censored, and I didn't even say a cuss word. I was just speaking truth. And it's like the first thing I typed in the quick message on the game. It was just some normal shit. It was just a normal question. Like why do it was I don't remember exactly what it was. It was like a question or something. I was like, why do we have gunsmith or something like that? Like if it hardly does anything, or something like that. And then the next message I've typed in was just censored. I'm like, wait, I didn't even cuss. I didn't do anything. All I did was speak the truth. So yeah, it's and the community doesn't care. You know, it's you know, every time you mention this stuff, they're like, oh, you're just bad. Get better. But those people, they're not using their heads. They don't look deeper into the issue. They don't use the critical thinking. So yeah, what they say automatically doesn't matter. But yeah, let me leave. Next point: communism and greedy capitalism. There's nothing to distinguish good players from bad players in this game. The skill gap is hardly existent, because it's so much randomness and unpredictability that it's just like, well, it really brings down competition, because there's always this random shit that's going to happen that fucks up the core of the game. You know, you don't unlock camos from having fun. You unlock camos from grinding mindlessly and mind-numbing monotony. You know, you unlock them from spamming and playing like a camper so you can get certain kills. It's really stupid and it's not fun. They could release a legendary gun as only a ranked reward for having a high MVP rate. That's an idea. You know, if you get MVP a lot of times, if you have a higher score per minute, if you help your team more, damn, you should be rewarded with a certain gun. But no, they don't do shit like that. You know, in order to get MVP consistently, you actually have to. Okay, I won't say you actually have to have consistent skill, because the game's rigged. If the game wants you to lose, it'll make you lose. But you finishing with a higher KD on average, it says that you are better at the game, but there's no reward for that. That's why this game sucks. You know? More on this idea of a legendary reward, a legendary gun reward in ranked. They can make it a limited time, you know, so you can only get it if you play a particular season, and then there won't be another legendary ranked gun reward for another few months. So that'll make it a rare gun. That would be cool as fuck. Like, that's innovation. That's creativity. It would actually show that someone has skill rather than just a bunch of spamming and randomness. But no, Activision is greedy, so forget them. You know, they're not getting any money out of me, man. Like, You might say, oh, well, you are paying because you're paying for data. Yeah, but I mean, I use my data for other things on my phone, not just for games. No huge loss there. No, there's no huge loss there for me, and it's not putting money directly into their pockets. So yeah, and I do like, I do think that there's gonna be at least one game on mobile that doesn't disappoint me. That's very hard to find, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible. Pascal's Wager is fun, for instance. I just have to be in the right mood to play it. It's a game that's like Dark Souls, like a lot like Dark Souls, and the graphics are great. It runs 60 frames. That's a good game. See? The only problem I have with it is the storyline. It's rather and the voice acting is rather bad. It's rather bad, but it's a good game. But anyway, went off on a tangent there. But back to the point. The only reason that Activision keeps doing the bullshit they do is because people keep giving them money. And I already know, man, if my PS4 was working, man, if I had a TV with it and the equipment, I wouldn't be buying COD. Fuck no. I wouldn't be buying COD. That shit is terrible nowadays. It's gone downhill just like Guitar Hero did. And I'm not even sure if Guitar Hero was that bad when it went downhill. I have a lot of nostalgia for Guitar Hero. The days that I remember playing the early Guitar Heroes was fun. But of course, those were the early days. I wasn't into Guitar Hero when people say that it apparently went downhill. So I can't speak too much on that. But there is a general pattern that we're seeing here. Games were more fun back then. It's not just like, oh, it seemed like they were better back then. No, they were. They were far less controlled by covert communism. Okay? They were far less controlled by greedy corporations. And that's the facts, man. But yeah, that's basically all I have to say in this video. I hope everybody's doing good. Anti-cheat.